My name's Nick Wilmer, the Head of Community, and I'm joined today by Alex Watson, who's the Head of Further Education.
Hello, everybody.
And Zoe Breton, one of our digital consultants that specialises in running adult learning student recruitment campaigns.
Hi, everyone.
This is actually the first time we've brought together two sectors and delivered one webinar. Today we've got attendees from both the further education and the local authority sectors, so it's quite exciting. Given that adult education is a subject important to both colleges and councils, we thought it would be useful to share some knowledge and sort of the learnings that we've got from both these two sectors. We hope you find today's session interesting, and just let everyone know that the recording will be sent out after the webinar, along with the feedback survey as well. Now, we've already had quite a few questions and challenges from everyone who signed up, and we'll endeavour to answer all the questions during the course of today's session, and Zoe's going to run a session at the end in case anyone wants to ask questions in the chat box during the webinar as well. So today we're going to cover firstly an introduction to those that don't know NetNatives, and for those that do, just some updates from our side and new releases at NetNatives as well. We've commissioned a piece of research into the digital behaviours of adult learners. We'll be presenting that with our analysis and findings as well. And we've prepared two case studies for you, one from the local government sector and one from an adult education college, both demonstrating excellent use of digital to attract prospective adult learners. And finally, we're going to be updating on new technologies that can be used by the sector to improve inquiry numbers and conversion rates as well. So if we begin by taking everyone through NetNatives and giving you some updates from our side. So for those of you who don't know us, there's 5 pillars to the work that we do for our clients. Firstly, innovation is at the heart of what we do as a business, whether that means being innovators in how we adapt our advertising platforms to produce the best results, or developing our own software products that help and educate our sectors in best digital practice. We take a data-led approach to all the work that we do, whether this means working with your current data to begin profiling audiences and behaviours of current students, or by helping you to understand the data that you can pull from your own analytics tools as well, and use those to best drive engagement, inquiries and enrolments. Our in-house analytics, insights and research team organise detailed research projects into further education. You'll see some of their work in the research that we're presenting later on. They also run very specific audits, reports and training sessions, helping education providers to better understand their SEO, social media and digital presence, their Google Analytics, and then the wider digital audience and conversation. We're also a creative agency, having recently gone through full creative rebrands with ones with Council and SOCO, developing creative concepts from in-house workshops with stakeholders and students, and then turning these concepts into full, realised advertising campaigns, utilising video, photography, and a full suite of design products. And then as an advertising agency, we work with over 250 colleges and councils to achieve a number of real outcomes, delivering volume and quality of inquiries for specific courses, increasing conversion from inquiry through to enrolment, and encouraging engagement and excellent content strategy as well. And then a few updates for those that already know or work with us. A very exciting piece of news is that we are now premier Google partners, so in the top tier of Google partners, meaning that not only do we do a lot of work with Google, but we've proven excellent results for our clients, and we hold our Google qualified consultants to a high standard. We actually now have 24 Google qualified experts working at NetNatives, and we have qualifications in search, mobile, video and analytics. We're an RAR recommended agency again this year, meaning that we've been recommended by the clients that we work with to receive the status, so that's very exciting as well. We're an elite Facebook business partner and have very close relationships with both Facebook and Twitter. They've both spoken at our events and help us regularly with up-and-coming campaign planning. Akiro TrueView launched last month. Akiro is our proprietary software that allows our clients to build mobile-optimized landing pages for their digital campaigns and then capture data from prospective students both online and offline, and then to convert these inquiries into enrolments through automated and manual communication strategies. Akiro TrueView is the advanced version of this software, so it's now a fully integrated CRM system, and it allows you to map the full customer journey, so tracking every single touch point that customer has with you, from website visit right through to conversion. And we also have 2 ranks that will be relevant for the audience. We've got EduRank and GovRank. These are tools that allow us to compare the digital and social media presence of colleges and councils on a monthly basis, looking at key stats across your channels and scoring them on a monthly basis. If you haven't seen them yet, go to edurank.co.uk or govrank.co.uk. So, onto the research. Firstly, looking at search. So, identifying those that are interested in adult education courses through what they type into search engines. So here we're looking at the UK as a whole. These stats look at the most commonly typed in groups of searches. As you can see, the more general courses for adults or adult courses group is the most popular, with the most generic search terms for adult learning courses. And I'll break down what those are a little later on. However, evening courses and part-time courses are also groups that have ranked particularly highly across the UK. So it's important to make sure that the terminology that you use in your advertising and website content matches this, so that when people are searching for a part-time course, we're displaying relevant adverts and listings to this audience in order to generate the most inquiries. Also, looking at time of year, we see natural peaks in January and then in August and September time for most of the groups. However, there's an also increase leading up to summer in April, May and June for the summer courses group, and then also the more general courses for adult group as well, as you can see there on the right hand side. So we've broken down the search terms into two sort of subsectors. The first is the work skills courses, and then we've got recreational courses as well. And this allows us to do some more analysis into the motivators of those wishing to take up adult learning courses. So here we're looking at work skills. So the most searched for course in this category is bookkeeping courses by quite a clear margin. However, more general maths and English courses are also very popular. So again, it's important to understand where the demand is, what are people interested in, what kind of courses do people want to do, and then are you offering those courses to the right people at the right time. Again, we've got peaks in January and September, which you'd expect if those looking to upskill themselves to improve their career prospects. Now, if you're interested, we're able to do much more specific analysis into your local region and find out the most popular courses searched for in your area or your regions if you want to. So if you speak to us after the webinar, we can do that. So now to have a look at the recreational courses. These are less employment focused, but once again a clear winner. We've got music courses at the top of the list, at the highest average number of searches over the past 12 months. The next two most popular searches are for arts and health courses. So in comparison to the work skills timeline, for the music searches, as you can see here, we see the highest peaks in October, January and April. And the other courses are slightly more flat throughout the year, but each follow a pattern. So again, it's important to look at the courses you're offering and when there's a natural interest in them throughout the calendar year. So now looking at those groups we looked at earlier, breaking down those individual search terms and going a bit deeper. So firstly, the more general courses for adults group. Here's the number of searches around the UK each year and the locations in the country where we're receiving the highest volume of searches. So as you can imagine, the areas with the highest population densities are often the places where more searches come from. But as you'll see, different types of searches and groups will prove more popular in certain regions. It's worth noting that all these stats are going to be published in a white paper at the end, so please don't scribble everything down right now. So here are the individual popular terms within the adult courses section. Adult learning courses and adult education courses at the top, but it's also worth noting here that maths courses are also appearing again, showing significant appetite in these types of courses. The majority of the searches are from mobile. As you can see, mobile searches are increasing year on year, while desktop and tablet are decreasing in popularity. And these findings are echoed in our campaigns, with a large majority of engagements, inquiries submitted, coming from mobile devices. This stresses the real importance to have one simple mobile optimized user journey for prospective adult learners. Make it as easy as possible for them. If they're coming from a mobile device, make sure that they can easily engage with your digital presence. So within that, the course-related searches, again, are maths and English when it comes to adult learning. And we've got some more specific skills, such as computer skills, hairdressing and plumbing as well. So the part-time courses. If we look at the part-time course searches, there are a number of the numbers and the locations of where they're coming from. Interestingly enough, in comparison to the last one, Leeds has now made an appearance, showing there's more interest for part-time courses in that part of the country, and interesting given the population size in comparison. As you can see, when it comes to part-time courses, there's a real clear focus on part-time courses related to specific subjects and very career-focused subjects as well. We've got hairdressing, beauty, nursing, electrician, business and architecture. So it's worth considering when thinking about how you word your advertising campaigns to make sure that they are specifically career-focused or subject-specific, so that you're driving interest and engaging what people are searching for and matching that type of language and terminology. And again, you can see that mobile devices are the clear winner in terms of engagement and searches. So, as we covered before, hairdressing, beauty and nursing are the most popular part-time course search terms, but also some more career-focused ones there as well. And then finally, the evening courses for adults. So here we look at evening courses, both the timeline and locations again. We've got similar patterns to the other two groups. Manchester's popped up here. So again, it's important to have a look at your individual region and location and find out what people are searching for, what's the terminology they're using, and what's going to then engage with that particular audience when it comes to your advertising campaign or your website content. Now, the clear difference between evening courses and part-time courses is it's suddenly not about specific subjects anymore, but it's all about location. So if people are looking for an evening class at this stage, then they're less concerned about specific courses and more concerned about their classes being locally available. So again, making sure that you're wording the campaign or wording the website content that matches that, making sure you understand that, that you're getting across the idea that it's local and easy to access, and then offering them a selection of courses once you've engaged with that audience and pulled them through. And it's also interesting to note there's a high proportion of desktop searches for these types of courses as well. And then looking at more subject-specific, languages are the winner, and we've got French and Spanish coming top, and then art, hairdressing and language coming underneath that as well. So the next section, we're going to examine some of the digital conversation around adult learning courses. When people are discussing them online, which platforms they're using, and what are the common themes and terminology that people are speaking about when it comes to adult education. So looking at peaks again, we've got peaks in the conversation in April, August and January, as you can see here. The huge majority of this conversation is happening on social media, so predominantly across Twitter and Facebook. But there's also digital conversation occurring on news websites, forums and blogs as well. And if you're interested, we can break these further down later on if you speak to us after the webinar. This demonstrates the importance to have a strong social media presence. Think about the content that you're putting out there. What subjects are you talking about? How are you delivering that content? We know that video content produces far more engagement than links and status updates. How are you using this media to engage with current and prospective students? For nearly every client we run digital campaigns for to recruit for adult learning courses, we use Facebook. It's a standout platform when it comes to results. Are you using social media advertising to attract potential students that we know are interested in these particular subjects? Here's a lovely word cloud, looking at some of the common themes. And it seems that people in the UK like a free course, apparently. It's the most common search term in relation to adult learning courses. So how are we attracting potential students? By offering free content, possibly free online or taster courses. And the idea is to begin that relationship with that person. We know from other campaigns that we run, once someone attends a free course, they're then very likely to go on and book onto a paid course subsequently after that. So how do we tap into this mentality and this conversation at the right time? And here are some interest categories for those groups that are discussing adult learning courses. And interestingly enough, sports, the interest in sports among this group is the highest and most popular. And you wouldn't, not necessarily in terms, the searches don't match that and the conversation doesn't match that. But when you are running or targeting advertising campaigns, we know that people who are talking about it have this particular interest. So consider using that within the different targeting options that you're employing. Okay, that's it for the research. We're now going to go on and we've got 2 case studies, one from Buckinghamshire Adult Learning and one from Morley College as well. I'm going to take Buckinghamshire. I've been working with them successfully for 4 years now, and in September last year we began a relationship with the Adult Learning Division. When we scoped out some of the challenges they were facing as a department, sort of 3 key areas came out. They were interested in looking at the digital customer user journey of their prospective students. When someone comes to the website or to their Facebook page, how easy is it in reality to find out about courses on offer and to enroll on a course, and where are people getting stuck, and how can we improve those individual customer journeys? Inquiry generation and subsequent enrollment numbers were a key objective. As with any course, it needs a certain number of students enrolled in it in order to be sustainable. There were some key courses they wanted to drive inquiries for, and as well as a number of different locations that offered these courses that again needed specific attention. At the same time, they wanted to know more about where their inquiries came from the advertising they currently did. They wanted to learn what was working and what wasn't. And then finally, an important part of the brief was how to engage lapsed learners. So Bucks have a large database of both previous inquiries that have never enrolled in the course and those that have booked onto a course a few years ago but never came back. So how can we re-engage these audiences and drive more enrollments from a very specific, engaged group of people? So firstly, looking at the customer user journey, running specific analysis on their analytics, their Google Analytics, and using our in-house website usability tools, we identified a relatively long customer user journey, from entering the website to the point where they're able to either make an inquiry or book onto a course. And this meant that at every step of that journey, there was a percentage of people abandoning the process, therefore losing prospective students. There's also multiple portals and websites, and not all of them are mobile optimized. And again, that made the user journey a bit longer and slightly more difficult for them to get to the information that they wanted to. So in order to address that, we implemented Akiro to improve that journey. For all the digital activity and for the campaigns we were going to subsequently run, we built a landing page that would act as a destination for these campaigns, meaning that when someone clicked on an advert, they would arrive at this page in one step, so one click. And that minimizes abandonment, allowing the person to submit their details, choose the course and location of interest. Then the team at Bucks would then be able to follow up with specific information about the courses that would be of most interest to them in a location that was good for them too. And this made the experience from a user point of view highly bespoke and very personal. Akira also sends personally customized automated responses to prospective students, letting them know how to enroll on courses, and this in turn has improved conversion rates. Akira also tracks the individual sources of each inquiry, so where the touch points were with that particular student and what led them to making that individual inquiry. So working with the team at Bucks, we identified the key courses that were either new to the service or needed more students for the next intake, got to grips with where the locations of the courses were and how far people were willing to travel to attend either a part-time or an evening course, and then through analysis worked out key times of the year and peaks when campaigns would be most effective, and then built a full comprehensive marketing schedule that embodied all those factors. Now, the 2 main channels that we used to drive inquiries were Google Search and Facebook. Google Search to capture those that were actively looking for adult learning courses in Buckinghamshire, and then Facebook to identify key audience demographics that had shown interest in these courses in Bucks and running relevant and engaging content to these audiences. These campaigns all then pointed prospective students through to the Akiro page, and we were able to test multiple images, wording and calls to action to see which was most effective in producing quality inquiries, therefore optimizing the campaigns constantly throughout to ensure that the platform spend was giving the best results possible. We also ran specific remarketing and conversion campaigns to those that had either visited the landing page but not made an inquiry, or those that had made an inquiry but not enrolled in the course. And these were particularly successful in producing more inquiries and encouraging more to go through to enrollment. We also ran campaigns targeting the lapsed learners, so with stronger calls to action that proved very successful, and we found that these previous students were much quicker to come back and then to book onto another course. We also use data of current students to build profiles and then use the digital platforms to find new prospective students that match those behaviour profiles. These data-led approaches, again, always produce superior results. So how did it all work out? So in terms of reach, we served 950,000 impressions or displays of the advert. We generated over 15,000 clicks. We had 1,100 post likes. We had 168 post comments, 348 post shares. So high levels of engagement with the advertising campaign. During the time from September to now, when we ran the campaign, they've now got an extra 351 new Facebook followers as well. So it's a massive increase and jump in terms of people following the organic content that's coming out on Facebook. And throughout the campaign, which was the ultimate drive and objective, was to generate inquiries. So we generated 970 tracked inquiries from September. And then obviously Buck's we're talking about spends and enrolment figures, but we generate off the back of that, we then looked at how many of those inquiries went through to enroll and to book onto a course and actually become active students, and looked at conversion rates right through from initial running of an advert right through to enrolment. We also had great success in converting lapsed learners into enrolments. So they, in particular, were faster to come forward to book onto a course because they'd done it before and they were happy with that, how that course had gone. And the real sort of need from our side and how we benchmark against all our campaigns is to make sure that we're driving ROI. And this came from both the revenue generated directly from the enrolments, but also the increase of the database of inquiries and students that Bucks now have because of the campaigns. And then Christy Dennis, our main contact there, the Marketing Communications Officer at Bucks, she rated us 10 as extremely likely to recommend net natives. Big thank you, Christy. Great service and lovely people. And then off the back of the campaign, she was really interested in finding out about new ideas and how to track and how to train her and the team in using analytics to look at those customer user journeys. I'm now going to pass over to Alex, because I've spoken loads.
Okay. I had to put my own slides in so I could get a word in edgeways. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through the case study for Morley College. Morley College is one of the largest providers of adult education in the UK. They have annually about 10,000 enrolled students across 1,300 different courses, which vary from basket weaving to access to business HE courses. Now, their objectives were, they previously ran digital campaigns, display campaigns, search campaigns, but they'd never been able to track the ROI. So the challenge for us was first tracking that, but generating the inquiries and generating the event attendance. They knew previously when they pushed people through to the college event, they converted much better than people who signed up and just inquired through the website. So event attendance was a big part of the campaign. We ran this across search, social, and display campaigns to promote the college itself, but also about, again, 1,300 different courses that they provided. We then also ran social and display campaigns for the open events. What we then needed to do was we needed to use the data that they currently had, but then the data that we were collecting throughout the whole process of the campaign. So converting existing inquiries into applicants, and then using that data to discover a broader target audience who they knew were on their doorstep, but they weren't able to target or kind of pinpoint. And then finally, the key for them, because they previously ran campaigns but not tracked any ROI or success of campaigns or even success of individual images or messaging, was setting up the tracking and the campaign analysis on the website and through the campaigns. So the first step, obviously, for them was inquiry generation. So what we did was we took a step back and we looked at their priority courses, but also the courses that they knew they could fill day in, day out to focus on that ROI. Once we'd figured out what those courses were, we then took a step back and carried out the research, like the research that Nick had just shown you, looked within their target locations what the demand was and what courses we saw would convert best or had a demand for. We then created the different imagery and the different titles and descriptions of the courses, etc., and then the different platforms that we saw through that research would perform best to A, generate awareness, but then B, convert into inquiries and event attendees. Once we then had created those, we obviously test them, optimize them, and continue and improve the campaign. Now, for the conversion and the use of the current database, which is obviously valuable information that previously all they were doing was emails to inquiries, emails to applicants, and hoping that they converted. For the conversion campaigns, we ran email targeted campaigns, but directly through digital and social campaigns, and then remarketing through digital and social campaigns, display and social campaigns. To broaden out that audience of existing inquiries, we then ran lookalike and connection-based campaigns. So for the lookalike audiences, we were targeting individuals within their catchment area who had similar online behaviours and similar online interests to their existing inquiries and applicants, and ran direct campaigns to them. And then we used connection campaigns, which are pretty similar to referral campaigns, targeting people who are connected to their existing inquiries and their existing applicants, and targeting them with a similar message depending on the course interest that they displayed on their profiles. Now, the outcomes. So, social reach, we generated 635,000 impressions. For search reach, there are 3.4 million impressions. Quite hard to quantify numbers, but just from an awareness point of view, those are impressions that can then later convert when people do figure out that they want to carry out a course. Further down the cycle, obviously, we've got clicks, people who visited the website. We've got 220,000 clicks through to the website. From those clicks, we were able to track 926 direct inquiries. Those were the ones that we could track. There are times when people go onto different devices or revisit the website who could have also converted, but the number that we're looking at is the 926 inquiries. Their target was that their total annual inquiries was 950,000, so we generated 10% of their inquiry target. Now, a quote from Nicola Millam, head of marketing from Morley, was the campaigns that Natives ran for us were a significant factor in recruiting students to our adult learning courses. Now, some tech updates for you. So, first big tech update for the adult market is Facebook generated a new targeting and new lead generation tool for us, which is called Facebook Lead Gen Ads. So these are highly targeted adverts with customizable autofill data capture forms, which enables us to target individuals, and as soon as they see the advert, they can directly inquire without having to fill the information themselves. It pulls the data from their social profile and then will link it into your CRM. Why is this a good thing? Because it removes clicks from the inquiry and application process, and it shortens the lead process. When adult learners are inquiring, they're often out and about on their mobiles. They don't want to have to go and sit down somewhere to fill in a long application form. Once you've got this basic inquiry information, you can then follow up to further them down to the application process. Now, Google has also stepped up their campaign, so they've got Google Extended Ads now, which we've got 2 times bigger current text ads, which obviously means it's more eye-catching, especially on a mobile. So headlines have expanded from 25 characters to 30, and descriptions have expanded from 70 to 80 characters, which if you've ran search campaigns before, I'm sure you can appreciate how much beneficial that is for you. So more text equals more visibility.
Okay, and then automated conversion communication strategy. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I suppose one of the challenges that nearly every single client that I work with face is that they've got a huge number of inquiries. Lots of people who've come forward and said, I want to study with you and this particular course, but then for whatever reason they don't. Something gets in the way, or they choose a competitor, or they just don't go ahead with it for whatever reason. Now, it can be massively time consuming, trying to stay on top of those people, carry on speaking to them, and it's a drain on limited resources to have to, constantly email or phone them. So what we're doing now is developing automated conversion communication strategies. And it begins by looking at, the people are coming forward, how can we split those out? How can we start to look at the different motivations and the reasons why people aren't progressing to the next stages? And then make sure that the communications that they receive from an automated platform are bespoke and personalized to them. So they get taken on a journey and they receive automated emails or text at points that are going to be relevant for that individual person. And the whole idea is to encourage them to get to the next step. It could be make an application, it could be enroll, it could be get back in touch with further information later on. But making sure that they feel that, so from a limited resource from our side, just setting up the communication strategies is great, but actually they run themselves. And you can see how people are engaging with the content you're sending out to them. And then you can start to score people. So if people are more engaging with content, you're then able to focus on those people who you know are more engaged, whereas those who are less engaged, you can pull into other workflows that update them on a regular basis but aren't particularly constant or sort of driving them to make the next step. Yeah, that's that.
Cool. So guys, to summarise from the webinar, I'm going to run through some of the bullet points and then we can run on to the questions. So to summarise, through the use of search trends and campaign analysis, you want to understand who your audience is and what they are wanting at the different times of the year. Listen to the digital conversations around your courses. Choose the platforms where people are already engaging about that type of content and figure out what your provision should actually be. Provide a simple mobile optimized digital customer journey to make it easier for prospective students to get in touch. Ensure that you're tracking ROI of any budget spend on digital through the use of conversion tracking and goal setting. Split test different adverts to see what works best. Always benchmark against quality inquiries generated. And use your current data to drive new enrollments and to profile those that are more likely to study with you.
Lovely.
Cool. So we had a few questions through initially. So first, thank you for sending those through. It's really useful to understand the sort of challenges that you're all facing. We had a question through from Troy from Southwest College, and he said, how do we choose which channels to advertise on? So really, we try multiple platforms. We can advise what channels we tend to see are most successful. As mentioned in the webinar, we do focus more on sort of Facebook, Google Search and the Google Display Network, but we're always open to trying new platforms. We run campaigns from everything from Pinterest to Snapchat, so there's always a market out there. Also mentioned in the webinar, we analyse all of the historic data to see what the search volumes are for certain courses at different times of the year and at different areas. Also, we always want to focus on what the outcome of the campaign will want to be. So, do you want them to come to an event? Do you want them to download a course guide? Those different call to actions really differ on what platform we choose. And ultimately, what we want to do is monitor all the results through conversion tracking so that we can then analyse which platform generates the best results for you, because it can differ from client to client and college to council. One question that was asked by quite a few people was how to overcome financial or budget constraints. So again, tracking. By tracking, we can see where the high quality inquiries are coming from. And then we can see where to use your budget, or you can see where to use your budget. One other thing, which I guess is similar to financial or budget constraints, is sort of manpower and who can follow up with these inquiries. And that's where the automated conversion communication comes into play. So we can set up through Akiro those automated emails that go out, and they just sort of nurture the inquiries and nurture the leads. And then by the time they reach you, they're probably quite likely to convert. So we had another question from Sandra from the City of York Council. So she did ask about the financial budget constraints, and she also asked how we can reach new users digitally. So it's something that Nick mentioned at the beginning of the webinar about lookalike audiences. So these can actually be done in a couple of ways, because something that I come across often is that clients don't always have access to a lot of past inquiry data, or they're just not allowed to release it to us, which is understandable sometimes. So you can actually create lookalike audiences based off of people who have liked your Facebook page. We have spoken with Facebook thoroughly about this, and there's no data protection issues through that, so that's just a way around it, and we see quite good conversion rates off of that. There's also, with Google, similar audiences. So just a bit of background about what that is we create remarketing lists based off a pixel across your website. So that's for the Google display network. And then we can create similar audiences off the back of that. So it's just similar in terms of social activity as people that have already visited your site. So again, that's quite a high conversion rate off of that. One question that also from Sandra was saying, how do we build an online presence? And that just feeds in quite nicely with what we were saying about having a presence across multiple platforms at different stages of the year, so people become familiar with who you are. And one final question is how to improve your position in Google searches. So we do also offer SEO, so that would be the organic side of things, so where you're ranked in terms of not paid advertising. From the paid side of things, so the Google ads that we run, we always aim to be within the top 2 positions. So that means that we would always be at the top of the page.
Cool, thank you. All the questions? Perfect, thank you very much, Zoe. And thank you everyone for listening to us. Hopefully that was useful for everyone. You'll be receiving a feedback survey after the webinar, and also we'll publish the white paper and send that out to everyone who is listening and everyone who signed up as well. So once again, thank you very much, and goodbye. Say goodbye, guys.
Thank you, everybody.